in audio. 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 In audio.
Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and this is your Straightjacket podcast 234 on this wonderful Monday. And shout out to everybody who's locked in. I know we went missing last week. I was in Kenya. I tried to do the show maybe later in the week, but it wasn't possible. But we're here. I think that's the first Straightjacket podcast we missed in about 4 years. So the run had to come someday. You know, the clean sheet had to come someday. But we're here. We're live and kicking. We got Nuruddin in the building. He's happy because the sun's out. As long as the sun's out, Man United, you know what I mean? It's irrelevant for now. As long as the sun's out, Nuruddin is happy. Surely, right? What are you saying, Nuruddin?
Yo, big up, man. Big up, everybody. Straightjacket Army. I should have been here doing it, really. So next time Saeed goes away, I'm going to be here doing the show, people.
Next Monday, I won't be here. So
yeah, I'm going to do the show. So I'll book the guests, and hopefully Brian will be with us if he's about.
Yeah.
But big up to everybody. Yeah, the sun is shining. I'm happy in that. But Manchester United got me fantasizing, people. So 6:05. I've got 3 midfielders. Watch the season at home, majority of the games, cup games, and all the league games this season at Old Trafford. And that midfield worries me next season.
Yeah, tell you that, man.
And then Premier League and all of the other things. So we're going to be discussing the three midfielders that I think Manchester United can. That's the Red Raw and Therapy later on at 6:05, people. So big up to everybody. But we're here for the Straightjacket, and we got to start. There's so many talking points. So first of all, Straightjacket, on behalf of the Straightjacket audience, how was it back home, mate? Back home.
It was nice, man. I can't lie. Kenya, you know what I mean? Big up to the Kenyan people. We went to see the Kenyan president. You know what I mean? It was lovely, man. The weather was sensational. The food was nice. The goat meat. You know what I mean? Everything was a sensational, man. So I can't lie. I'm going to go definitely back to Kenya. 100%. It has to be. But, you know what I mean? People want me to do a tour, man. They say come to South Africa. They say come to Nigeria. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to do maybe a tour, man. So shout out to everybody who's there from Kenya. And we got a man like Brian here from Belgium as well. Brian,
Yes.
how are you, mate? Everything all good?
We're back. We're back. Had knee surgery, so I wasn't there for the last 2 weeks, but we're
Yeah,
back.
man, sorry to hear, man.
I
Sorry
can
to
barely
hear,
sit
bro.
now,
How are you
but
feeling? How's the recovery, Brian?
it's good. It's good. Just one more week and I start physio, and then it's just building up again to trying to walk again and everything. But yeah, it's just difficult because I'm in a wheelchair sometimes. I'm on crutches, but I'll be able to move around left and right because of my mum. So big up to her as well. Innit?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yo,
Big
where
up to the
would we
mum
be
as
in this
well,
world
man.
without mums, bro? Where would we
Yeah.
be, bro?
Always, bro. Always.
Always, man. But where would we be without Marcus Rashford this season, man? He's gonna get a new contract. This coming exclusive from Brizio Romano gave us a bombshell. I think it was around about 1 o'clock. Yeah, 12 o'clock-ish today. Manchester United are on the verge of reaching an agreement with Marcus Rashford over a long-term deal. He's set to accept the proposal. Negotiation at final stages. Rashford very happy with Eric Ten Hag. Final details to be sorted. Here we go soon. Nuruddin, man, it's a bumper deal. I'm hearing it's around 375 grand a week. But, you know what I mean?
Well, at the end of
this
the day,
is mad.
listen, at the end of the day, for me, I'm not going to try to watch because at the end of the day, it's an entertainment business and footballers are on the pitch. But for me, you have to justify it. So you have to play like you're on 370 grand a week. You know what I mean? You've got to leave everything on that football pitch. Blood, sweat, and tears, man. Even the days that when you're not on form, you've got to do everything you can. But the biggest thing, what I'm hoping for Marcus Rashford is bringing quality players so we don't play him on the way that we played him this season, which is basically he's been our savior. So we need him to be fresher, just like Man City do, where they rotate. For moments, you don't see Bernardo Silva. Times you don't see Phil Foden. Times you don't see Mahrez. Times you didn't see Jack Grealish. Do you know what I mean? It's that to making sure that your players are fresh towards the business part of the season, the end of the season. So at the moment in time, a lot of people are down on it, on Rashford and that supposed money because the way he finished the season. But I don't understand that without him and his goals, we would not be finishing where we were in the Champions League. And we would not be in the cups, and we would not have won a cup without him. So at the end of the day, he's been a massive contributor to the season. But I just want backup for him where we don't have to play him when he's injured. And you know what? It's like Saeed, we've watched this kid grow, and we've watched him play with injuries season after season. So for me, that's what I'm sick of. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of football. There's a lot of football because of TV money. There's a lot of money. And I'd rather it goes to players than goes to agents and goes to dividends FC.
Than him, yeah. But this comment here, big up to Killis. He said, I thought the club wanted to bring down the wage bill. I thought that was a big thing for Eric Ten Hag. But Brian, let's be honest, man. I think Rashford has got Ten Hag where he wants him, man. He's the highest goal scorer. He's been the main man that's been scoring the goals. He could easily say to Ten Hag, yo, you need me. You need me. Let's be honest. I'm not trying to dismiss Ten Hag in terms of what he could do and he could replace the goals, but listen, man, his contract's running out right now. He's saying, yo, I want this amount of money. I feel like I'm worth this amount of money. I think there's a player power in the squad right now. David De Gea stalling. There's a reason for that because he believes that he's worth a lot of money as well. But you know what I mean? People say, the wage going down, but right now, he's got the leverage right now. He's got Man United where they need, right?
I think it makes sense for him to get that much money. If you look at how he performed this season, especially after the World Cup, he was carrying us for all the competitions. And I see a lot of people comparing Rashford's wages or future wages to other players in other teams. You need to look at in your own team who's probably the best player who has performed the best throughout the last few years. It's going to be Bruno. It's going to be Rashford. So for me, that makes sense that Rashford is getting that amount of money as well. And now with the whole thing about people going to Saudi Arabia as well, it's gonna go up again. Ever since that transfer from Neymar from Barcelona to PSG, you saw transfer fees going up every time. Now we're seeing loan wages. Now we see wages going up now. So I think it makes sense that it goes up. I think he deserves it. I disagree with people that saying he doesn't deserve it. He's been doing it consistently for us. I think maybe 1 year he was bad and he was really, really bad, but that was because of injuries of previous seasons. But yeah, you need to keep your players happy as well. And we're the same team, or we're the same set of fan base that when a player goes on a free next season, it's because we didn't extend his contract a year before. Now we're doing it, and then people are complaining again. So I sometimes have a difficulty with understanding what people want from Man United. Sometimes you wanna be on top of your best players early, but then at the same time, when that happens, you're complaining because they're getting too much money. And the same time is not your money. So why do you care that much how much he's earning? That's for me is a thing that doesn't really doesn't bother me.
The reason why I think maybe in terms of United fans is because we haven't won anything in a long while. And I think for me, you know what I mean, right now we need to have perspective as to who should be earning what. Again, there's a fine line between pocket watching and just having a wage bill, isn't there, Nuruddin? Like, there has to be a little fine line in between. I look at it and I think he should be getting more than what he wants, but to that degree, probably not. And that comes down to a level where the whole club has to have that stance and says, you know what, we have this stance that nobody's going to earn this threshold while the club isn't where it needs to be. And I think that could be, everyone could say, right, okay, then that's fair enough. Then nobody's earning above 300 grand a week. I would kind of put it to that level. I say nobody's earning more than 300 grand a week while the football club is understanding where it's at. And Ten Hag sets a standard and says, you listen, we're not where we want to be. When we do win trophies and you start proving to me why you're doing it on a consistent basis, then we could talk about transfers and negotiation and whatnot. But again, if the club don't set the standard, it's like you have a house. If I come into your house, Nuruddin, and I put my shoes on in the gaff, you're not going to be happy, are you? Because your rules in your house is that you take your shoes off before you come in the house. So you've got to set the rules. As fans, we're going to have this opinion. We're going to be like, oh, he's not worth this amount of money. But the club will decide whether you should be worth this amount. And obviously, he's right now got the leverage on Man United because Man United ain't doing shit at the minute. Well, he is. So he's kind of fleeced the football club. But at the same time, I'm not pocket watching. It is what it is. And 100%. It's on the club. It's on the club, right?
Yeah. Listen, it's of course. Listen, when we used to be a football club, let me just jog the people's memory back. Yeah, history lesson, history time.
Let's go, man. I'm ready.
So when we used to be a football club, Manchester United used to have a wage structure, and I remember at the height of the Manchester United success, the wage structure got broken twice. Two players, one was for Roy Keane, and the other one that I remember was Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
And it was a discipline thing because it was like to keep them both, Manchester United have to do that, have to break the wage structure to make sure to keep them. Those two players were winning league titles and like, you know what I mean, finals in Champions League and doing all of that, like contributing heavily to the team. So it was worth that. So when we go back to being a football team, Saeed, I want that coming in because I want that discipline and I want young players. If you want that flash money, I want you to inspire it. And I want you to get it when you put in a performance that match what you're getting. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Facts.
So for me, you have to match. And what that does as well, Saeed, it brings a certain kind of discipline to the dressing room as well. Because if everybody's earning everybody, then there's not a need to improve, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, while for people, there was a thing to improve because there was a wage structure. Everybody knew the people who paid that, who got paid the highest wages justified it by being the most consistent. So we're talking about two Manchester United captains. Manchester United broke the wage structure at the height of that success with Roy Keane and Rio Ferdinand. I'm sure they broke it for other people like Rooney and that, but they were the two high profile cases that I can remember. I can really remember. I remember Roy Keane. Inter Milan were linked with him. Lots of Italian clubs at the time.
I remember as well. Yeah.
Where Serie A was one of the top leagues, and people were getting paid
especially at that time in the 90s.
Yeah. So I just remember that, and it's because those two, you never thought those two did not justify those wages. And I think I don't want to put words in Saeed's mouth, but what he's saying is that we want to get back to being a football club where you're not thinking about that, where you're thinking the success. When you're never gonna pocket watch because you're thinking, you know, these guys, they're gonna
perform. Yeah.
But at the same time,
precedent though. It sets a dangerous precedent. When we don't perform, then we're looking at Man United on high wages, and you're like, where's the balance? There's got to be a balance.
The same thing is, but at the same time, we want players in a certain type of quality players. Yeah. So let's say 300k wage bracket, that type of player we want. If we're now going to say the limit is 250k per week, for example, and we're trying to get these players out over that structure, then like you said, okay, sometimes you have to break for certain players, but a lot of players are not going to come because we're going to say 250k is our limit. I don't agree. I agree with you having a wage structure, but because of how football is, I think 250k is too low for the top quality players that we want.
We want 300k.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. But even with Rashford, yeah, he puts. I think he deserves it. I think maybe like 2-3 players in that team that deserves that amount of money. But if we're gonna be stingy about giving players better contracts, then we're gonna say, oh, we could have got, let's say, Frankie De Jong, but he's gonna say, yeah, Man United offered me 250 and I wanted 300k, and then we're gonna look at Man United and say, oh yeah, but we should have spent that money because he's worth it. I think Marcus Rashford is worth it. I think there's a couple of players.
You
in our
think
squad,
it's worth 375 grand a week?
I think he does, because he's been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years. We haven't had a player. We've got players in who are better quality than Marcus Rashford and have not performed to his standards, or has not been consistent to his standards. So I think that he deserves it. I think he's now one of our poster boys for the next few years. So for me, for him getting to 375k is normal. I'm not saying get everyone that same amount of money, but I think he warrants that for the last few years. I think he has.
Right.
But let me ask you a question.
In your club, in our club.
I really want to rebuttal what you're saying, bro. Listen.
Yeah.
For me, if you've been that guy, I don't worry about it if you've been that guy. But I'm sorry to say, but Rashford, listen, the last couple of years, Rashford's been super inconsistent.
Yeah.
Of course, injuries.
Everyone. But everyone is.
Yeah, of course. We've not been that consistent. Everybody is. I understand that. But the point I want to make is this, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Manchester United in the last decade have either, in the decade, yeah, at times we've been joint first, at times we've been joint second, and I think one time we went to third, paying the highest wages in world football. So let me repeat that for the people at the back. Manchester United in the last decade, in terms of wages, have been in the top 3, mainly 2 and 1 close to 1, right? Now, in those 3 years, what have Manchester United done? 2 League Cups, 1 Europa League and an FA Cup. That's the only trophy I recognize. I'm sorry, I cannot justify those ludicrous wages. But what people don't take into consideration is that we've got Glazonomics, where the Glazers sign players, average players, on huge wages, and then because they buy they get the players because how much they're worth on paper, not the actual quality of the player, and that boosts the stocks of the shares in the New York Stock Exchange. So we're not run like a football club, and that's one of the reasons why. When we were not run like that, there was a wage structure. Teams still joined. Do you know why, Brian? Players still joined because they understood you come here, you perform,
you get the best wages.
That would reward you.
Yeah.
That's why on the Fergie, players signed the contract. Next minute, 6 months later, a year later, they sign another contract. Why? Because it's to up the wages, to get the wages to where the market value is. Players who are similar players.
Well, we're not there anymore.
The world, what they're earning. And that's what happened. So listen, the ceiling, like Saeed said, at that time with Manchester United when we were winning, because players wanted to join us when we were winning as well, and it's different now. So I understand what Brian is saying, right?
Yeah.
So I understand we have to coax players into joining us. But with Fergie, what he did was he would always look at the market, like look what's going on in the market.
And even he said that value with no market.
Players. Yeah, and he would always reward players after you would get rewarded. But
let me get this super chat here.
Listen, not winning big trophies, not competing, and for the decade having the second highest football wage bill in the world, you're having a laugh. And that's why Manchester United fans, and above all fans, are a bit touchy about players getting paid, because we get caught in a trap where we can never get rid of players because nobody's going to pay them that money, because teams buy players on the actual quality and what they can offer the team. They don't buy them on what it says on the spreadsheet.
Yeah. Let me just get this super chat here. Nate H says Rashford being on 375k makes me want to vomit. He is a consistent player. What the flip are people watching? Is Salah worth 600k a week? I'm thinking he's saying they're flipping out. I think, Brian, there's a balance in it. And I think you're right. To get the best players to stay, we have to offer these kind of money amount. But where I want this football club to be is have a structure that aligns with what you've succeeded at. So if you're winning, then you reward yourself with contract. That's why I look at Man City now. Like, some of them, they don't want to be there because they're not on the wages that they want to be on. But the club are saying, no, if you don't want to be on our structure, you leave. Cancelo, whoever, let's just say whoever it is, they're not getting the money or they're not getting whatever they deserve. Guardiola says, you want to leave? You can leave. He doesn't tell anybody, yo, you're powerless or you're kind of like, you have to stay. Like, he will let you go. And I want to be at that stage where Manchester United don't have to say, yo, we can offer you 350k a week to come here and be at this football club. We get a sensible wage that's coincide with what we're doing as a football club, and then we can go like that. That's just the way I want to run. But I hear you in a sense of we have
That
to.
makes sense, but like you said, for City, it's easier because they've been winning leagues. They've just won the Champions League. For them, it's easier to say if someone is not happy with 200k, we'll get someone else for 180, and he will do the job. We're not there yet, so I agree. Not the whole squad should get that amount of money. I think one of the problems with our wage structure as well that when we loan out players, we mostly pay their wages when they go out on loan. We keep players like Phil Jones in the club for a long period, so that that obviously makes the wage structure higher. But what I'm saying is, a player like Rashford, maybe 375 is a lot, but I think if you look at this season, yes, he's been inconsistent from all the players. He's the most inconsistent player because he's got us where we landed this year. And then all of the players in the squad are going to look at Rashford and be like, you've played every single game when you was fit. You've scored a lot of goals this season. I think 30 goals and 10 assists. How should you not get rewarded this season and then not get a better contract? And then players in the dressing room going to say like, okay, but he played well this season. They like him.
You don't get excited though. This is where you don't go too overboard. I think deep down, like I said, there's a balance of saying I'm pocket watching or you're saying he's gone overboard. I think for me, 375 grand a week to go to that level, I don't think anybody on our team deserves that much. I generally don't, because I just look at the wage structure right now. It doesn't need to go to that level and that extreme. Right now, he's on about 250 grand a week. I would say 300 grand a week would be suffice in that sense. And then you have a structure there, 300 grand a week. De Gea's going to leave. That means, okay, Sancho's happened, didn't it? We had to go and get Sancho, and that should never happen again, really, to get a player to come in.
That's the bad precedent that we set. That's
and that's what I'm saying to you. But that's coming back to the football club in terms of we're making bad decisions, and then whoever gets the next one, we're like, oh, but he deserves it. But if everyone has the same level and there's a wage structure, we then have to stick to that principle. It's about having a principle. Everything in life, everyone has rules, policies. If you don't abide by them policies, you get sacked, right? And that's where I'm getting to, you know? So
that makes sense. I understand.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. But like I said to you, it's happened. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm not hating the player. I'm hating the game. You know, I don't hate on Rashford because I reckon Rashford, to be honest with you, deserves it more than anyone in this team in terms of what he's done this season. But I hate the game in terms of Manchester United just don't have any principles. They just whatever fits the narrative. You know what I mean? And also, Nuruddin, it kind of negates your point about you said Marcus Rashford would wait until the new owners were coming in. Well, really, there's no new owners, and he still signed a new deal. So what does that say about the Glazers and whether they're staying or not? Let's be honest. You there, Nuruddin?
Your mic's off.
You're on mute.
The biggest thing what I would do is wait, innit? I would wait and see where the club is going, but it seems to be like they've been negotiating this for month and month. But to be fair, Saeed, they've been negotiating with David De Gea as well, and that's still not been signed. So all of this could be just to bring about some sort of positive news to certain Manchester United fans. This could be a Neil Ashton story, bro. So because we know that
a little PR spin for the Glazers.
You're right. Supposed to find a deal a month ago. Like, it's supposed to be all done. It's just waiting for David De Gea to sign. And then today we're hearing, the club don't fancy David De Gea, and that they want a new, a goalkeeper. So we don't know what to believe. But to me, if I was Rashford and his representative, I would wait, because genuinely, if he's got any ambitions, I would wait. Genuinely wait, honestly, because it's always kind of my back side. There are people who think Rashford, obviously, he's one of our own, 100%. But a lot of the fan base take the frustrations out on him, the same way Bruno gets it as well. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the most visible, talked about players. But this season, nobody talk to him except for that last 2 months. And to me, he was carrying injuries because he's been overplayed. He was fatigued and he's carrying injuries. Yeah. So that's the reason why. But I would wait and see. But maybe he got sick of waiting. Maybe he got sick of waiting, thinking, you know what, this was going to happen. Maybe this week was going to be sorted. Last month was going to be sorted. Maybe he got sick of waiting and thinking,
maybe
you know
it's a process. So you got Rashford first, announce that one, then announce De Gea, then announce someone else. So it's like a drama, isn't it? It's like, when you're waiting for the big day. So Man United share prices, they're waiting for things to happen for them to kind of make it. You know what I mean? It's like almost like unveiling. You know what I mean? Let's unveil a new.
No, it's a new series, isn't it? You know what? Everybody's waiting for that new series. The episodes, isn't it?
Episode, yeah. You got your first episode right now. Marcus Rashford.
It's a Netflix episode. We are the DFC.
There we go.
We are.
Guys, it's over 700 people in here. Make sure you guys like the video, man. Please, guys. I just need you to like the video. Don't do anything else if you have to. You don't have to send a super chat. Just please like the video. It helps the algorithm. So if you're doing it right now, please do that right now. Nate H has to put into contact. De Bruyne is on 400 grand a week. Haaland's on 375 grand a week. Marcus Rashford even close to that level. Come on, man. Club taking a piss. When you look at it like that, I get it. But then Marcus Rashford is not looking at, you know what I mean, other clubs. He's looking at for himself. And ultimately, I would do the same. If I would be looking at comparing yourself to that. So, Nate H, I hear you, but then I don't hear you because I feel like for me, Marcus Rashford's thinking about himself. This is what I now want to talk about David Hay in terms of what's going on right now. Like, Nuruddin, what I know you said about the situation, but surely we're going to get a new keeper. But then again, is it a dangerous precedent that he does stay as number 2 because he's still going to be on 200 grand a week? He's still going to be, you know, I mean, the fan base is still a bit uneasy. Ten Hag might say, you know what, Onana, you're not first choice. David Hayes first choice, but then you might have to be number 1. Where are you looking at right now in terms of?
You mean number 2? Onana
number 2, sorry, number 2.
Yeah. Where am I? Well, for me, I actually, you know, Onana's a great goalkeeper, but the guy that I've been doing lots of scout reports on is Diego Costa. I think Diego Costa has got everything. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I disagree. I think Onana's for me.
Nah, I'm with Nuruddin. I'm with Nuruddin there.
Okay. Go on.
Because what I want is that I don't want just a shot stopper. First of all, I want to pay a massive tribute to David De Gea, whether he leaves or goes. I was done with him a long time, but he's a club legend because he at least won a Premier League. He's still got 1 Premier League to his campaign, you know, where he won the Premier League. So big up to David De Gea. And he was close, you know. I mean, Aguero moment took the other one away from him. So
absolutely.
Yeah, big up to David De Gea. I'd say time is done, Saeed. I remember me ringing you on the phone in your lockdown after Sheffield United. I was like, I'm done, Saeed. I'm out of here. I'm actually, there's a video. Actually, we did a Straightjacket podcast on Monday after that, and I was like, De Gea, it's been a pleasure. Ta-ra. So I'm actually chilled about it. I'm not hating it. I'm not volatile. I just know that while he's been there because of the way we're run as a football club. But a serious football club would have replaced him last year, the year before. Now, the reason why I say Diego Costa side is that shot stopping, in terms of sweeping, in terms of ball handling in the air when it comes to corners.
He's poor at that, man. That's where you're wrong. He's actually poor. You're not seeing the World Cup.
Hey, listen, please. One thing we do say here, right? Never judge a play.
No, I'm not. But there's been occasions where he's very cagey.
No, 100%. Saeed is a young goalkeeper. You're gonna make.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
For me, high risk, high reward. I want high risk, high reward. I don't ever want a goalkeeper that's afraid of making mistakes. Because even Onana makes mistakes. Onana does some
mistakes. He would make you a bit stressed out.
You need to watch him at AFCON as well. He was been awful last year.
So what I'm saying to you, sir, keepers say because the position is when they make a mistake, it usually leads to a goal, right? So I'm not. But one thing what I love about Costa is his bravery of coming out. He never dilly-dallies. When he does one thing, whether he makes the mistake or it comes out. So every department, playing out from the back, brilliant. Long passes, brilliant. Comfortable playing out from the back. Good at. He's got presence because of his physique. He's got really presence. He's quite tall. Yeah. And I always remember tall goalkeepers make it work at Manchester United. He's 23, and I don't want Manchester United to worry about a goalkeeper for the next decade. That's the reason why him over Onana. That's the reason why I would want him, because he's got all of the different attributes you need for a modern goalkeeper, Saeed. He has got it. He has all of the different attributes. Yeah, he's not magnificent in every one of them, but I don't want anybody to be magnificent because David De Gea is one of the best shot stoppers I've ever seen. But the rest of it, he's horrendous.
But it's about the price tag, though, guys, man. 75 million.
No. 64 million pounds.
60 for me. I look at that, and I think for me, I just look at the midfield. We don't have a big budget. Sorry.
That's plus add-ons as well.
Yeah, obviously plus add-ons. I don't know, man. I just think United right now don't have to spend massive on a keeper. We don't have to spend massive. I would go.
But that's the way I disagree with you. When are we going to do it if we don't? We don't have to worry about it for the next decade. If you get Costa, he's 23 years old. He's going to embed himself in this culture. And you know what? Don't watch him where he's making mistakes now. watching for the potential that he has and the ceiling he has to get better. That is the reason. To me, he's going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world, hands down. Right? He's going to be one of the best goalkeepers. That's why I want him at my football club. And £64 million now is cheap for a goalkeeper. Man City and Liverpool paid nearly with
no. Edison was 35 million. Edison was 35 million.
Yeah.
Allison was 75.
Yeah, 75 plus add-ons. Saeed, we know that how City have been cooking the books. We know that Haaland was 50-something million. It was over 100 million to bring Haaland. We know that City have been doctoring it. And I was going to say to you exactly the same thing about how wages that City pay. We know they doctor the books. We know that. They were paying Mancini for 6 days' work as a consultant coach for 7-8 days and 1.5 million in bloody Dubai. I'm like, what coach is getting that as a consultant? 1.5 million a year? Are you kidding me? So we know that they do some dodgy stuff. But to me, Costa's the guy. And if you honestly, I've read all the scouting reports about him. He is good at everything. He's not exceptional in one thing, but he's got the growth to learn.
But you wouldn't mind both of them, though, would you? You wouldn't mind Onana as well, would you?
Saeed, if we were that football club, why not? Let's do it. If we're that football club, they can fight it out. But for me, I want a goalkeeper. I don't want to talk about a goalkeeper, Saeed, for the next decade. And I don't want to go, I want that spine sorted out. And I want goalkeeper. It's crucial. And you know Manchester United history. It's so crucial, a goalkeeper. And I like his temperament, but I would want him to be a bit more aggressive. But when I see him, and you know the biggest thing, Saeed, as well, the biggest thing why I want him, he makes fucking penalty saves. Oh my God. You know what I would feel like?
David Hay made one. David Hay made the last one.
You know what I would feel like? That slight confidence, 15% confidence that our goalkeeper might save a penalty or not to worry if games go to penalty shootout. Are you kidding me? I'll be looking forward to them. I'll be like,
record, man. Check Onana's record, man. It's not too bad as well as penalty saves as well.
I don't know. I don't know about Onana as well, to be honest. Like, I think I'm with Nuruddin here. I've seen Costa and I've seen Onana for the last few years. I've seen Onana at the AFCON Cup as well. And I think Costa is a bit better. I think Onana is a better footballer, though. So that depends on what really Ten Hag wants. Because he's looking for a type that can play out, that can pass well. But you've seen it. But you've seen it with Costa as well. Like, he has good kicking. So it's gonna be in between. I would go for Costa as well because he's a bit taller as well. Has more of an aerial presence. Where Onana he tends to sometimes slip underneath the ball, and that's where you have to compare two players. But if you get one of the other, I'm not gonna be upset. But I think I will be more assured if we get Costa because I think he's a little bit better, just a little bit better than Onana.
I think you're right, man. The Onana disrespect is a bit mad, but listen, it is what it is. We have to identify. We have to carefully pick it. But right now, you know what I mean? Like, I just hope that we're buying a keeper, man. I think the spine needs sorting out, man. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, you know what, Ten Hag can't avoid another summer of uncertainty when it's getting toxic. People are questioning David De Gea's status as a keeper. People are questioning his mentality. People are starting to slander him. He don't deserve that for me. And he just needs to kind of leave out now, not sign a new deal, go to Saudi Arabia, earn some money. He deserved that. Like, he actually deserves to go to Saudi Arabia and earn good money. He's had a good career. He's been number one for Man United right now. Like, let him go there gracefully, go with your family. But I feel like he sees this as home. He sees that, you know what, I deserve to be on this amount of money because certain other men, like Martial, like McTominay, like Maguire, like Donny van der Beek, are all on good wages here, and yet nobody's saying anything about them or nobody's saying to them, get out of the football club. Like, he's thinking to himself, I deserve this contract, and that's why he's waiting around. That's what it is. That's what the hold-up is. It's just, it's Ten Hag giving the go-ahead, but also the final details of how much he's going to be given. And that's what it is, man.
Listen, the biggest thing is this, Saeed, right? I wish him well. By the way, I understand Kante, Koulibaly, even Sia. I can't understand Ruben Neves. Are you taking the biscuit? What are you doing?
Did you not like Ruben Neves? Did you never like Ruben Neves? I'm sure you liked Ruben Neves.
I like him, but what is he doing going there?
But the funny thing is,
he's only about 25,
24. He came out 2 weeks ago.
I get it, though. I get it.
Nah, because he came out 2 weeks ago saying, I want to go to a Champions League club. I want to play Champions League.
I know.
And
he's
two weeks later,
hypocrite. But let me tell you something. he can still go to Saudi Arabia, play for 2 years, and come back. Because Axel Witsel did it. Remember Axel Witsel? He did it. Who else did it? I think Carrasco did it, didn't he?
Did it
Carrasco.
well,
So they came back. So he can come back at 28, 29. And they'll be, listen, Manchester United will be waiting for Neves when he comes back from Saudi. I'm telling you now, right now, Manchester United would pay 30-odd million for Neves because he'd be available on a 1-year deal or 2-year deal. So he knows there's going to be desperate clubs when he comes back in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
So go and get generational wealth, go and get your money, and then come back in Europe and still play for another 3-4. Gian Martino's been playing until like 35, 36 in the Premier League. I'm sure Neves can play that.
Same thing happened to Paulinho when he went to China and came back for Barcelona. So it happens, innit? But
yeah,
like I understand though, if pure for footballing reasons, I wouldn't go. But then, like you said, the financial side is also important. But yeah, for me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because you just came out because you want to play Champions League. Go on.
Now the maddest thing is though, he's actually gonna. He's only getting a little bit more. He's not getting huge lot of more money than he would get in a Champions League club. That's why I don't understand, because you're on your prime. You're on your prime.
But still, though, he's still getting a lot more money than he was getting at Wolves.
Everybody that's going to that
and no tax.
30 or over 30. Tax. Everybody's going to that league is 30 or over 30.
Facts.
No, but no tax, Nuruddin. No tax. Imagine that. Like, no tax. Villa sorted out for you. You know what I mean? No crime. Your family's safe. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know what, man? It's, for me, it's Bernardo Silva. Do you see Bernardo Silva today, by the way? Bernardo Silva got a proposal from Qatar. I don't know if you guys see it, from Saudi. David Ornstein broke the report. Let me show you right now. David Ornstein, where are you? Let me just put it up now. There we go.
That's bad though. If these type of players go to Saudi Arabia already, then that's bad. I get the players are over 30. They want to get a last.
But they're not going for over 30 now. They're going for the mid. Look,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But that's bad. That's a bad sign.
Look at this. This is
serious.
But
Mendes is putting everyone there.
Yeah, absolutely. Free. You're right. But look at this. This is what's happening, and it will happen more and more, and they can afford to do it. You know what I'm saying? So this will happen. I'm just looking at it thinking, where are all these Man United players? Come and get Fred. Come and get Martial. Come and get David De Gea. Come and get Maguire. Come and get Fred.
We can't even do that.
Van de Beek. I'll give you buy one, get one free. I'll give you buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one and you get one free. I'm telling you now.
You buy one and you get one free.
Ali, Al Nassr, Al Ittihad,
Al Hilal.
Who else is out there, man? Who else is out there, guys? Like, please, if you're watching Saudi Arabia, please take these players off us. We need to get rid of these players. Look at Chelsea, man.
Listen, by the way, we also need to discuss that basically Saudi Arabia own Chelsea now as well.
I know they got a stake. They got a stake. Yeah. Al Ittifaq. You know what I mean? Al Ittifaq. Come on, man. Who else is out there? Ittihad.
Make sure you don't get caught out, because I've seen these type of things happen before.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, please, just come and buy. You know what it is? Our players are not even of value, man. Nobody wants them.
But it's the agents, isn't it? Because if you see Jorge Mendes, yeah, he's getting everyone. He got Ronaldo there. He's getting all the Portuguese players there. So you see half of Wolves just getting sucked out right now.
And I think David De Gea would go because George Mendes is still his client in it, if I'm not mistaken.
But that's why you need a person like George Mendes in a football club at United. Like, just, United, you know what they need, United? They need someone who's good at offloading players, like, who has links to every single club.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but we're not set up because that will interfere with the stock price.
There you go.
Now, but at the same time, again, because it's the same thing with Ten Hag when he got all these Dutch players in. Like, you're gonna have the same thing. That's what happened to Wolves. He got bare Portuguese players, and then the half of them didn't perform. So, do you really want that at the same time? You don't want that.
No, I don't want to dictating the who comes in goes out.
Nah.
Maguire would be the Arab jail. Listen, if he was doing that thing that he did in Greece, he'd be in jail right now, man. So you can't do that stuff over there, man. You know what I'm saying to you? So, but you know what it is, though? I think United, again, like I said to you, man, selling players has never been Man United's forte, though. Even with Fergie, we got rid of... Who did we get rid of for pennies, man? I remember Javier Hernandez when we sold him. It wasn't that much money we left him.
Welbeck on the free as well.
Welbeck was
man.
16 million when you deep
Oh.
it. Like it was. Who else was there?
The twins.
Only
Remember
who?
we
The
got-
twins. Yeah, I'm just looking at players, even like the ones that are recently. Like we've never ever sold well, apart
You know
from
what?
Daniel James.
Listen, yeah, and Chris Smalling. The two players that we made a bit of profit on was Dan James and Chris Smalling. And both
Chris
of them,
Smalling, how
what
much
we
you
have
selling
here,
for?
we sold him for, I think all the package was like nearly 18 million. I think it was nearly 20
Let
million.
me see. Chris
Dan James was
Smalling
like was 25, isn't it?
Yeah,
signs
James, the
for-
whole package was 25, yeah.
Yeah,
signs for Roma.
12.
2020, 18 million. Yeah, we made
Yeah.
about 8 million profit because we bought it for 10 million, remember, from
yeah.
Fulham. Yeah, I remember that day. Look at this one. Eric Bailly today. I heard 2 million. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I
We
heard
bought him for
2
30,
million
innit?
today.
Nah,
I
that's
heard
mad.
2 million. That is embarrassing. And you know what that is? Yeah, that's from neglect from managers. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is part to blame for that. Recruitment is part to blame for that. Darren Fletcher, John Myrtle, not putting them in good clubs, good environments. Obviously, the body and the training ground facilities for them to be improving and Nuruddin for them to be having. You know, if you're a footballer, if you're a football club, your player is an asset in it. So your player is an asset, right? So what you do then is you got to protect the asset, right? So you got to make sure his medical facilities is good, so that when you do sell him, you can say, right, he's in tip-top condition. It's all about confidence for me. Like United don't even do that well. And that's the problem with United. We don't even facilitate the deal so that at least then there's some resale value in the player. We don't do that. And that's the problem. You don't have any resale value in these players. There isn't. Like James Garner,
Saeed,
like
because we're not
we sold him for good money.
Saeed, under the Glazonomics, does not allow us to be a football club where we can.
But there you go, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
It goes back to you know who. Is there any news today? Because I'm sick of it. I turned it off anytime any Glazer. I just don't even look at it.
There's no news. There's no news about the ownership situation. I spoke to a French journalist today, and that video is coming out tomorrow, by the way. And he was like, "Yo, man, I don't know why you guys are getting Jim Radcliffe. This guy is the worst owner that he's seen, etc., etc." So I don't know, man. Obviously, we're gonna find out what's going on. You got a striking situation as well. I don't know if you've seen today, man. Bayern Munich are looking at Højlund as well right now because they need a striker as well. People don't understand that Bayern need a striker. And
But aren't they, listen, but aren't they, I'm buying in really advanced talks to sign Manueni.
who?
From Frankfurt.
Mwani?
Yeah.
Mwani.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, but they're talking to someone from I think it was Fulkrug, something like that. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I know that one. I know that one.
No, honestly, look it up. Munabi is
Yeah, but he's been linked with him. Yeah, I've seen it.
But listen, Højlund, man, Nuruddin, like you know what it is, yeah. Like obviously, Bayern are gonna be after every single player. Like there's no doubt about that. And when they do get a player,
every player that we're linked with, they want a piece of the pie.
of course, man, because in the day they know they can bully us. They know they can bully us, innit? But Højlund, let's go with you, Brian. Brian, let's go with you, Højlund. I don't know if you've watched a lot of him. I've watched a bit of him in the Serie A. Obviously, Atalanta. He's not been a starter. He's a good finisher, but again, not prolific. He's very, very raw. Would you bank on spending 70 million euros on Højlund?
70 million. Nah, 70 million nah, but I think every striker right now in the market is going to be around the same price. I thought he was a winger at first because when I saw him play in the Serie A, because they play with the front three, usually comes off the left. I thought he was a winger. Was a bit surprised that he plays as a 9, but I wouldn't really go for him as a number 1 striker, maybe as a number 2, but like the price tag is just a bit mad. And we've been seeing reports about our budget being around 150 million. So I think it's going to be very hard to find a good striker for next season. And I would not spend it on that because they are asking for a lot of money as well, Atalanta. So I wouldn't do it. I'm not really convinced about him as well. He's nice, but he's not really the most prolific scorer that I've seen thus far. But I cannot say more because I've only seen a couple of games of him this season.
Nuruddin, you're normally kind of keen on these type of strikers. Like, I mean, like I always look at you think, you know what, technically good, raw, but Nuruddin, even you can't say he's guaranteed to score goals next season. We've been at Old Trafford, right? And there's been games where it's not been much things going on. We don't really clinical. Rashford, obviously, this season has done his thing. Sancho isn't clinical. Anthony don't score enough goals. Martial's never fit. Garnacho, for me, has been a surprise package. There isn't a lot of goals in his team. To throw Højlund in there, for me, I think it's going to be a risky game that Ten Hag's playing. If he pulls it off, fair play. and he deserves his plaudits. But I think it's a risky move, man. What do you say?
Agreed.
Nuruddin?
Agreed. Listen, I agree totally. I 100% agree with you. And I would go one further and say Atlanta needs to lay off the crack. 70 million for a kid that was on their bench. And that was actually, they sent him on loan to some other team. I think it was the Austria or something like that.
Yeah.
And he banged in goals there. So for 70 million, they need to honestly get off the crack and be realistic. Right?
But they
They
know.
need listen to me. They need
But
to
they
put-
know we're desperate, though. How
They
can you say that?
They done it with Diallo. They done it with Amad Diallo as well.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
bought
listen.
a kid that was 17 for 30 mil.
Yeah, but listen, you can sell a Diallo special, though, innit? You think he's
Yeah.
special, he's going to progress. So for me, I would put clause in. If he bangs at Manchester United, they would get a 15 million, right? So if we get him for 40 million or 45 million,
So you're saying add-ons? They
Yeah.
ain't gonna do that, man.
so to me, because it's a risk to Manchester United. I'm not buying him for 70 million now. See you later. I'm not buying him. I'm not-
Where else are you going then? Who are you going next? The guy next, Colin Mwani, is 1 in 100 million. 100 million euros. Who
No,
else is out
I
there?
don't think he's worth that either.
But again, that's what I'm
Who I'd
saying.
get? Saeed, you listen, and the people might laugh. Antonio Valencia backed me up because I was telling everybody and their nan that Scamacca at West Ham was never going to bang. And now, apparently, he's on his way to Roma. I would hijack
Roma.
that deal because he would be perfect. And you know what I know, Saeed? That Ten Hag has got a previous with failed West Ham strikers.
Haller. Sebastian Haller. Yeah, you're right. I think maybe that could work. But again,
Like they-
I'm not going to lie
listen,
to you. His
Saeed,
confidence levels is very low at the minute. Again,
Yeah,
it
but
needs
Saeed-
working. But I get what you mean.
Saeed, similar height, similar attributes, very good on the ground, very good holding the ball up, bringing technical footballer. I'm sorry, go and hijack that deal. That's what I would do. I would say, Highland, I'm not getting ripped off by anybody. I would go and get Scamacca. Me personally, that's me.
Scamacca. Yeah. Listen, I think Jose Mourinho, man, he's almost, because you've got to remember, Tammy Abraham's out till the end of the year. And they've only got Belotti, they've got Al Sharawi, they've got who else have they got strikers wise? Yeah, that's I think it, you know. They don't really have many other players that they play forward. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat, but they've lost their main striker in Tammy Abraham until the end of the year. They need a striker. You know what I'm saying to you? I would not blame Derek Ten Hag if he resigns from all of this. Listen, man, we don't know what's going on. Dybala, forgot Dybala. Yeah, Dybala as well. But you don't know when he's going to stay or go, man. He's not reliable in that
also
sense,
very
man.
injury prone. Dybala's injury prone. But Saeed,
Yeah, and also you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know where he's going to go. Saudi Arabia, you don't know what he's going to do, man. These guys are very, very, like, you know, Icardi was 1 minute here, then 1 minute he's in Turkey League. So
Saeed, listen, I'll say this now. If you said to Scamacca and his agent, Manchester United Champions League football, you want to go to Roma? No chance, mate. No chance.
But we don't know yet. This is what I'm saying to you guys, yeah? I don't know what Ten Hag's, like, style, not style, but, like, what does he want? He's so hard to read, Ten Hag.
He's looking.
Listen, I'll tell you, Saeed, I'll tell you. He wants somebody to be able to hold up the ball. Hala, you just think about Hala. Hala and Scamacca have got
Yeah, but
similar.
then we still play with a lot of transition.
Yeah,
though.
but
We
that's
still
two-
play with the transition.
That's two styles. I think he's going for two type of strikers. Either he's going to be a target man, like in the Weghorst vein, like a Scamacca, tall, big,
Yeah, he brought, yeah,
technically
exactly.
good. But at the same time, you're looking at Hoyland and he's just rapid and goes in behind. So he's looking for two profiles. I think he's looking at what can I get for, let's say, 60 million. If it's a striker that's tall and can link up, I will get that. If he's a striker that's fast and getting behind, I'll get that. So he's just looking at what's available. So I think he's looking for two different type of molds. And then obviously with like players like Kane and that, you have like a little bit of a mixture. But I think personally, I think he will go for a tall striker again because that's what he done with Haller. That's what he done with Weghorst in the January transfer period. He's looking for players that can link up his tall and that can add a little bit of height to the team as well because he likes that profile.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. But I don't know, man. I just look at, you know, what we're going for right now. 1 minute it's Colin Mwani. Like, he wants Harry Kane. Like, and this is why I'm saying, like, it's such a shame that we've gone from Harry Kane to Hoyland, didn't it? Like,
No.
and we really should have booked the motion in for Harry Kane way in January, like a pre-agreement, like the way that Man City did their pre-agreement with Haaland. Like, it should be that situation. But obviously, we're having to go one step down, and it is relatively it's peak, isn't it? And I'm just hearing something about Kim Min Jae 1 second. No changes. Buying our favourites to land. Kim Min-jae deal in place this week will be crucial to get it sealed. That's so sad, man. Honestly, guys, you don't understand, man. This guy is a real deal, man. Voted Serie A best defender this season. And you know, in Serie A, man, they always have good centre backs. You know, in Serie A, there's always a need for good centre backs in it, and he's voted the best centre back. He's been unbelievable for Napoli this year. Strong, powerful. You know what I mean? But both-footed, right foot, left foot. Again, it's a shame that Bayern are just come in. When Bayern really, they don't really need any centre backs. Like, I know Luke Hernandez is leaving, but they still got what's his name? Upamecano. Who else have they still got? They still got Delit, and still got Pavard there. They still got, you know, there's a couple, even the youngster that's coming as well. They've got centre backs in that region, but obviously they're gonna go for more in it, and it is one of them, man. Many Italian players, big up to Big Benz. He says many Italian players like to play in Italy because of the environment. The English culture don't suit them. I think Scamacca misses home. I think that's important as well. Sule's at
Dortmund. He's at Dortmund now. Yeah.
Dortmund.
But he just left last summer. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got this. They've got this. That's what I'm saying. Walker's gonna stay though. Walker's gonna stay. But I don't know, man. I just look at the situation. I'm thinking we're getting cast-offs, man. We're getting secondary. We're getting second fiddles, man. And I don't know next season. I'll be honest with you guys, man. Right now, if you told me United making top 4, I'd be very, very. I wouldn't be confident in that next season. But again, this is why we're here, innit? You know what I mean? To kind of to back the manager. We don't know what the ownership situation is going on. It's a lot of uncertainty, man. It's a lot of uncertainty. You know, Nordin. I don't know if you feel the same way, Nordin. A lot of uncertainty. Eric Ten Hag, what do you reckon he's thinking right now? Because he had a whole conversation with the Glazers last April, and he wanted to know the direction of football club. He's very, very strenuous. He's very, very meticulous. He must be thinking, wow, man, this is mad, you know, when you think about it.
Well, to be fair, when they asked him that first press conference, remember, when he turned up in that beige suit, that dapper suit, they asked him if Van Gaal told you about this football club. He was like, you know what? Yeah, I listened to Van Gaal, what you have to say, but I understand that I'm here and this is a challenge and I'm looking forward to it. Listen, he said it before the FA Cup after the World Cup. The quotes are out there where he basically said, that other teams were backed, managers were backed in January, and they got me a workhorse and an injury-prone guy from Bayern Munich. Now I understand why that guy was on the bench at Bayern. Because he can't stay fit. To have 3 injuries, separate injuries, on a loan for 3 months, like that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous for me. But anyway, so it is. Well, listen, what we know about every manager at Manchester United under Glazer, one arm, 2 arm, 3 arm. They shackle your 2 arms behind your back, and then they bend your leg and shackle that as well. So he's standing on 1 leg. That's what's happening to him. If he walked, I won't blame him, for me personally. But obviously, he wants to see it out. He wants to think that hopefully the something happens in terms of the sale. And I told everybody on their nan last week, I did a show last week, and I said, that's a fake deadline. When they were like, this week. I'm like, I can't lose because I know what's coming. I can't lose. I can't lose. At the end of the day, Kim Min-jae, Bayern Munich. Every time Manchester United come up against any well-run football,
yeah. You know, there was a question. Yeah, there was the caller yesterday on the calling show. He said, yeah, whenever Man United go toe to toe with a bid or a bidding war, how many do they win? You know what I mean? When you look at it, like it's only Lisandro Martinez that they've won. You know what I mean? Everyone else, they've lost.
You know that was Saeed because the manager, Martinez ranked Ten Hag.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, Nuruddin. Is it Ten Hag what he wants or what the recruitment team is? What is it like? Is it Ten Hag talent ID or is it bad recruitment? What is it like?
You know what? The most telling thing is it was an interview. I think it might have been with Henry Winter when they sat down. It's for the Times or the Telegraph.
I remember that one. Yeah.
And I think he asked him, he was like, obviously Manchester United recruitment scatty, you know, they don't have we're the laughing stock, sorry. But you listen, you must know Abdouale, yeah. He's well known, he used to play football with him. He's a football agent.
Yeah.
When I catch him, he tells me Manchester United are the biggest laughing stock amongst all the agents. Everybody knows they can bend Manchester United over.
Of course, man.
Right? everybody knows and understands that man, they don't never have to bring Vaseline when it comes to Manchester United. Right? No Vaseline needed, right? So I say it simple, and I say it simple, is that we're a laughing joke. And Ten Hag said, in one of those interviews, Ten Hag said, yes, it's been a lot of work. I've done all of the analysis of the season. The club know what I need. They basically have the list.
He said it in March, innit? I think he said it in March as well. Yeah.
They have the list. So it's not the recruitment team, Saeed. It's Ten Hag. Because these guys don't know what the F they're doing, and we know that. You see what's happening to the women's team. On the last show, I think it might have been Thursday or Friday, I had Natalie on, and you hear what she's saying. Russo was going to be the first.
You know what? They've all left now. Even the right back's left. The right back's gone on a free. It's a shout out, man. The club.
15 goal involvement, 30 goal involvement, 15 assists or something like that, 12 assists.
The women's
amazing.
team.
So now they're neglecting every part, and they let him walk it out for free. Everybody said that Russo was going to be the first £1 million woman player, and she's gone for free to go into Arsenal for free. So a direct rival. And at the time, Saeed, when the women's team had the best season since the formation 5 years ago. I
know. The guy went over there, man.
We've been in the league in a title challenge to the last game of we took the title challenge to the last game of the season. We went into the FA Cup final. We did everything but score. We were by far the better team. And when I talk about I want my team, there's a right way to lose. That wants me everything what I talk about. When I'm like, if I want to lose games, there's a right way to lose a game, and there's a wrong way.
Yeah, but it just shows you on every level the club is a mess. You know what I mean? From the women's team to the training ground to the FC. Right, it's true though, man. From every level you can think of, even on the academy level, like a lot of people rave about this academy. I think this is the worst academy we've had in a while. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know. I know there's special talent in Kobe Mino. I think there's special talent in Zidane Iqbal. But when I look at Man City, they're winning every single youth level there is, guys. Every single level they're winning now. So I can't say that the Man United academy is any great when in reality these lot are winning every single competition there is. So the standard's gone higher.
But what you don't understand is that the amount of love and care that's put into the academy.
That's what I'm trying to say to you, though.
The amount of resources that they have, the amount of things that
is neglected.
Yeah, but sorry, I have to come here in between. Innit? It's not because you've win the youth leagues every year that you're the best academy or that you have the best players. Because if you look at City, how many youth players have been pushed through for the last, let's say, 10 years? Same thing for Chelsea. Chelsea have been winning the UEFA Youth League. They've been winning FA Youth Cup. Yeah, but we've brought players through. Okay, not all of them have.
How many of them succeeded though? How many of them succeeded?
Not all of them.
Was one.
Yeah,
and the other one is
Rashford.
It's Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, but if you look at if you look at a Premier League setup here, if you get two players that can come through in the last 5 years, that for them is a successful development. Because when you look at youth development, they always say, especially under 16s, under 18s, it's not about winning. The only thing they want to win is when they go abroad, play a tournament, they pick all the best players from under 16s, under 18s, under 21s, they put them in one age. Same thing for youth league. If you win the youth league, that is when you see your best players. But when it's individual league, it's not about winning. It's about developing players, about experience, about making them better.
But you still have to have that winning mentality.
And we've heard
that breed of knowing when to win.
But
I look at United.
It's not important at under 16s.
There isn't a pathway.
No, that's true. And that's what Ten Hag said this season as well, that he wants to bring that through. But with youth players at under 16s and under 18s, it's not important to win. Even at under 21s, it's not important to win.
I don't buy into that. Even Nick, it's still a mentality.
Even Nick Butt said, Nicky Butt said, like, we could have won the under 21s league or challenge bare easy if we kept all of our players, but we send them alone because we want them to improve. At youth level, it's not about winning. It's about how can you get your players into the best environment in the best way, so then they can go up into the first team. So it's not about winning at under 18s. I don't agree because City can win. They can win for the next 5 years, but if you don't bring anyone through in the first team, you've done that for no reason.
They are showing that. You know what I mean? They are showing that. Rico Lewis is one example. Yeah. Cole Palmer. Rico Lewis is probably the best example at 17. Going into the team and understanding the philosophy of what a manager wants. We can't do that because at the end of the day, Ten Hag can't trust him right now because he's got a mantra that he has to win first. So I don't know.
But it's easier at City, I think, right now to go through. But I don't think because they win, they're better. I don't believe that.
No. I didn't. That wasn't my whole argument. I'm just saying that You know, they've got a better structure, and it just shows every level they're winning. Every single level they are competing, and they are destroying every other Premier League team that there is. And I just think for me, that's a sad indictment because we started our youth level so many years before them. You know, and when you look at it from the class of '92, we're looking at class of '92 as our benchmark.
But
and
that's
how is it
unique. But that's unique. In football. That's unique.
Again,
when you get so many players through, that's unique.
But it's also a sad indictment that it's gone from there to now barely anyone coming out the philosophy. La Masia will always produce talent. Why has La Masia never ever been so bad? It's always been good because they've kept the standard high. That's what you got to do. You got to keep the standard high. That's all I say, man. But listen, we're gonna wrap it up here. It's been a good conversation. Big up to everybody who's here. Make sure you like the video, people. There's over 700 here. Like the video right now. If you're watching, get us up to 500 likes. There'll be a special interview coming tomorrow with a French expert. So a league-earned expert will be talking about all the players that we've been linked with, especially Axel Disasai, Todibo, Mbappe. He talks about Jim Radcliffe. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. And yeah, man, big up to everybody who's here. Nuruddin, it's been a pleasure, man. Yeah, man, big up to you, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Big up. Listen, we're going to go live right now. I'm going to be talking about the midfield because I really think that we need midfield players on the United Real Therapy. We're going to... I've picked 3 players that are available that Manchester United could sign this summer that would literally give us levels. It's Barella instead of Mount, Casado, and Lee Kang. They're the 3 players that I would sign, all with 3 different attributes. We're going to discuss them in United Real Therapy. So please come and join us because I've got to fantasize now. I've reached that level where I've got to fantasize about these type of players because the club is the way we are. We're in jail, mate. Manchester United are in jail. We've been in jail for 18 years, and now we're in the hole. We're in what they call it when you have to be by yourself. We're in isolation. That's what we are. Manchester United fans. And
isolation, man.
We're in isolation, mate. We're in a hole now. We're in the hole. Get in the hole in prison. They have the hole where you go mad. They put you in the hole. That's where we are. So like crazy people, when you get in the hole, people lose their minds. And I've lost my mind. And I'm thinking these 3 midfielders, I personally think will take Manchester United to the next level. Yeah, and they're available. Apparently, Barella is available around 60 million. No. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And people are telling me about Mason Mount. Not even in the same planet, mate.
I don't, man. That's why I didn't even mention it once in the episode. Why are you mentioning it right now? Let's just get to your stream and then we can mention your stream. Brian, it's been a pleasure, man. Big up to you, my bro.
No, it was fun, man. It's been a while. It was fun, man. A lot of discussions. That's what I love. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear.
Brian, get in the pool, bro. Get that knee in the pool. Soon as the physio, get in the pool, bro. The pool is the best place.
I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you, man. Big up. Big up to the chat as well. Big up to everyone that watched. Make sure you drop a like. And yeah, man. See you, man, next week, innit?
Absolutely, guys.
100K. Let's go road to 100K.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Guys, like I said to you, I'm going to New York tomorrow, so I won't be doing any streams until next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is when I'm back, but Nuruddin will hold it down for the Straightjacket podcast next Monday. But I'll be back next Tuesday, people. So I'm going to be doing videos until then. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got a special interview. Make sure you're there 5 p.m. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your time. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And guys, head over to United Real Therapy. We're live, people. Take care. Bye.